All right, so let's zoom in and let's look at number 7. All right, so number 7, we see 4/100ths as our divisor, and we see 3.822 as our dividend. Well, the first step is always turn your divisor. That needs to turn to a whole number. So let's turn that to a whole number. We're going to bring it over once and twice. So now we're looking at this as just a whole number of 4. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go move it over twice. And when I move it over twice, I'm going to take that decimal straight up and put it into my quotient, into the answer area up top. So now I'm looking at this as 382.2 as our dividend. So let's do the work. 4 doesn't go into 3, so we don't even need to write anything above it. But 4 can go into 38. Let's think about that. 4 times 9 is 36, so that would work. So if I put a 9 above the 8, 4 times 9 is 36. I subtract, and we get 2. I'm going to show how I'm bringing down my 2 into the problem. So now 4 goes into 22 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. I subtract, and we get 2 again. I'm going to bring down this next 2, and I get 22 again. Well, 4 goes into 22. We just did that. That's 5. 4 times 5 is 20. I subtract, we get 2. So at this point, there are no longer remainders in our answers. We have a decimal already. So here's where we need to annex a 0, right? Annex a 0, then bring it down. And now I'm looking at this as 20. And fantastically enough that we just did that. 4 times 5 is 20. So 20 minus 20 is 0. Now that I have a 0 down after I subtracted, and I have nothing else to bring down, I'm done. That is my answer. I have an answer of 95.55. Now, I want to take a moment and I want you to look at how these numbers are all lined up. If I were to draw a vertical line down all of this, this should be how you are keeping your numbers organized, right? Most of the time, when you start writing this by hand, all of a sudden your lines are going to start coming out here to the side, and your problems are going to be angled outward. That's not how it's going to help you. You want to try to keep things nice and organized. Draw those lines straight down when you bring numbers down, and it helps you, keep it aligned. All right, let's jump over to number 9. 78/100ths as our divisor, and 3.51 as our dividend. So 3.51 divided by 0.78, 78/100ths. So let's look at this. We need to bring over our decimal twice to the right. So I'm looking at this as just 78. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I need to move it twice to the right. And when I do that, I'm going to bring it straight up into my dividend. So, oh goodness, 78 doesn't go into 3. 78 doesn't go into 35. So I need to think 78 goes into 351. Well, 78 is almost 80, right? If I want to estimate, right? We need to practice our estimation. That's about 80. And 80 could go into 351. Well, that's like 35, right? So we could think of it that it could go in there. Well, 8 times 4, that's 32, right? So that could work. Let's use 4 as our starting number. So 78 times 4, right? It's a lot of guess and check. Let's see if this works. 4 times 8 is 32. 2 doesn't carry a 3. 4 times 7 is 28. Plus 3, 28. So 29, 30, 31. That's less than 351. Yeah, that works. So let's put a 4 above the 1 because I'm putting 78 into this entire 3-digit number, 351. So 78 times 4 is 321. Oh, make sure I write that right. 312. Now I can subtract. I have to borrow from, let's borrow from the 5. That becomes a 4. And now this is an 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So 39 is less than 78. We're on the right track. But so is this 4.39? No, no. We need to annex a 0, right? Remember, that decimal is there. We brought it up. So we annex a 0, bring that down, and now I'm looking at this as 390. So I just did 78 times 4 is 312. So I know I need to pick a number greater than 4. So let's try 5, right? 78 times 5. Let's bring down our ink size just a hair. All right, so 5 and 8 is 40. 0 down, carry the 4. 5 and 7 is 35. 35 plus 4 is 39. And hey, that's exactly like what we're looking for. So that works. Put a 5 up top, 390. I subtract, I get 0. So our answer is 4.5. And I could check my work by saying 0.78 times 4.5. And remember, when we multiply, our decimals, our place values do not need to line up. 5 and 8. 5 and 8 is 40. 0 down, carry the 4. 5 and 7 is 35. Plus 4 is 39. I put my placeholder 0, right? Please don't forget that. Now I multiply 4 and 8. I get 32. 2 down, carry the 3. 4 and 7 is 28. 28 plus 3 is 31. I now add this all together. 0, 0, 0. 9 and 2 is 11. 1 down, carry the 1. 1, 3, and 1 is 5. And 3, this is certainly not 3,510. I need to look at my problem. I see I have 2 digits to the right of the decimal in 0.78. I have 1 digit to the right in 4.5. So I add it together. I should have 3 numbers to the right of the decimal. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I end up with 3.51. And that is exactly what we started with. So that makes us all nice and happy. All right, so that's a couple examples here on dividing decimals by decimals.